Many of you watch my success stories on the different videos or maybe on other channels as well. But I'm going to refer to the success stories on the Rosey Life channel because that's where we're at. So many of you watch these success stories and you wonder, why do they keep getting what they want and why isn't it working for me yet? And then what happens is many of you will start to try to mimic the success story. And several of you have commented already and said that you feel like every time you see another success story that there's another thing that you have to fix or realize or do or try or affirm. And that is what I'm going to share with you in this video. I'm going to give you a different perspective insight on, so when you watch any success story, including your own, because I challenge you all to send me your success stories so that I can share them with the world. So when you watch another success story, this is what you're going to start looking for instead of what you need to do. Welcome, my name is Rose, and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart so you live a life that you love. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me or joining the Rosey Life course in community, you can go to RoseyLife.com and read all the information. All of that is down below, including my email address is in the information box. Many of you have asked for it. Okay, so, and just a little announcement that starting this middle of this week, I'm going to be traveling. The Rosey Life's going to be mobile. She's going to be traveling. The Rosey Life's going to be traveling for a couple weeks to a different couple of countries. And you'll see when I get there, because I'll still be making content while I am abroad. So my schedule might look a little funky and limited for the next 2 weeks, but don't you worry. I will make time, not only when I come back, but I am still working with the program members, and so, and if I have some openings pop up, I'm going to put those up on my calendar. So for those of you who are looking for a time, just keep an eye open on the calendar, because I'll open up some sessions as I'm able to do them as I'm traveling. Okay, they might be last minute, so if they get filled, they filled. If they don't, they don't. Definitely, I'll be back before the end of the year, though. Okay, so let's get started. And you guys, I got a new Wise board. The other one was falling apart, so we had to upgrade her. All right, so here is the new Wise board. You'll see what it does. I'm going to show you right now. It flips. Look, it has multiple sides, so I'm able to write more than 2 things if I want to. But today we're doing 2. Okay, so this is a comment from one of the subscribers. Feel like I have to do something new with every success story that I watch. I get it, because you're just like, oh, well, maybe they did something different. Oh, well, maybe it's the way they said it. Right? So that's what I'm going to share a success story with you from one of my sessions yesterday, and she gave me permission to share it. And then we're going to use her success story to elaborate on what I mean and what you can do. So we're going to pull her success story apart and what she did and what you want to look for when you hear anyone's success story, okay, including yours. All right, so the first session, I don't know how I can afford this. In other words, she wanted to book a session with me. And she's like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford this. But she booked it. And she said after our session, she's an actress. And after she booked our session and we had a session, she actually had a booking. She booked a commercial spot. So she was happy about that, but she still hadn't seen the movement that she wanted entirely. So a couple months later, which is yesterday, so we worked together, I think back in August, and so a couple months later, she booked another session with me, and she says, you know, this is what went through her mind. She says, I don't know if I can afford this. Again, same thing like the first time. I don't know if I can afford this. Last time I had some movement, but not what I was really wanting. So these are the doubts that were going through her head. She's like, I want to book it. But she says, and I did get some movement, but it's not exactly what I want. And what makes me think that this session is going to make anything different? And just because it is just like another session, another coach, another book, another video, this is the kind of stuff what was going on in her mind. And this is not about you guys, convincing you guys to book a session with me. Okay, just get that out of the way. I'm just using her success story to show you. We're gonna pull it apart to show you it could be about love, health, or anything. I want to show you what is actually the gold in listening to a success story. Okay. So I don't know. She says, I don't know if I can afford this. Last time I had some movement, but not what I was wanting. Then she remembered what we have been talking about on all the videos. She remembered what we talked in our last session. And she was like, wait, I said no. She said no to those thoughts and those doubts. She said no. I'm changing. I'm charging this session rather. She says I'm going to charge this. I decided it's paid for. So she charged it. I decided it's paid for, and I'm going to be the good news for Rose and for myself. Because one of the things that she said is she felt like she didn't have that much good news to share with me since her last session. And she kind of felt weird. She was like, oh, I don't want to book another session, because she saw herself as like, okay, maybe I'm not doing it right. She didn't feel like very much of a success. And she caught that too. Not only with the money, she says, no, this session's paid for. And she says, and I'm going to be the good news for Rose. She says, instead of me worrying about bringing her good news of something I did, I'm going to be good news for Rose and for myself. So she decided that she's going to be the good news and that this is paid for. Well, guess what? The next day, after she booked a session with me, she booked it, she charged it on her credit card, right? She received a check for $9,000 the next day. So she even pointed this out. She said that's 25 times what she was afraid of spending with the session with me. She received 25 times what she was afraid of spending with me. Now, we both started cracking up at how we limit ourselves and how we get so afraid of our doubts and our fears, right? So it's not about what she said. Okay, here's where I'm going to start pulling apart her success story. So as a viewer, when you hear a success story, when you watch a success story, instead of getting sucked into these things, it's not about what she said to herself. It's not about how she said it or when and how many times she said it, because I see a lot of questions like that. It is what she became aware of. That's the key. Oops, my finger went over I am. It is what she became aware of. I am. That's what she became aware of. I am the one deciding here, not the thoughts and the feelings. I'm the one deciding here. I'm the good news. I am having this session, and it is paid for. That's what I want, and that's what I get. That's what she did. I am the good news. She decided that she was going to be the good news, not only for her, because she was like, I don't have a lot of success story to give her. She said, no, I'm going to be the good news for Rose. Okay, she says, I am the good news for me and Rose. And she was. You guys, she was. She was my first client yesterday. And that morning, I was lying in bed contemplating something. I was realizing something about myself, okay? And she reflected that thing I realized that morning. She confirmed that that I had realized, something that I had let go of, something that I realized that I was holding on to that was silly, right? I realized it and I was like, whoa. And she confirmed it by sharing it with me. And she was good news for me. She became good news for me, just like she wanted to. Do you see, how on earth do you think that was? There was no coincidence that the very exact thing that I realized, she brought to me and said that she realized that for herself. You guys, that's not a coincidence. Do you see? She became the good news for me, and she was the good news for herself. She received what she wanted. So listen to what happened. We're going to go in further to this, okay? So she said the last time I booked a session with her, it didn't work or didn't get what I wanted. She was going to make a decision on whether or not she wanted to move forward with a desire based on what happened in the past. She was about to use the past, the last time, as her present decision-making opportunity. She was trying to make a decision based off of what happened last time. And I've heard this from several clients actually, that many people have spent thousands and thousands of dollars with other coaches, and then they were afraid to sign up with me. They were afraid of signing up with yet another coach because that one didn't work out. Do you see? They're basing right now on some past, whatever it is, a relationship, like, oh, well, it didn't work last time, it's not going to work this time. Or I didn't get the job last time, why would I get it this time? Why would I go on another audition if it didn't happen last time? Why would it happen this time? Do you see? It's that fear, right, of looking at the past. So this is what I want you guys to pay attention to, not on what she said, okay, not on what she did, but look at her, the little journey in her mind of what she went through that led to her success story. So last time past, it didn't work. But she says, but it didn't work how I wanted, rather. But this is now. That's what she did. She said, no, I'm no longer looking at the past as my evidence or my scale on whether it will be successful now. In other words, I've been manifesting, I've been visualizing, I've been really, 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 really in the wish fulfilled, wholeheartedly, 100%, no doubts, no fears, no worries, and it didn't work. Can you tell me why it didn't work for me? Someone just made a comment on the channel about that. I really, really did it, and it didn't work. So what? So what are you doing right now? Why are you posting a comment telling me it didn't work and trying to figure out why it didn't work instead of persisting in your wish fulfilled? There is no other time than now. Even if you think that that time has passed, that the deadline has passed, that doesn't matter. You are in that eternal now. That is all there is. So there is no deadline. There is no expiration. There is no, it's too late. None of that. There's only right now. But it's your refusal to believe that it passed. It's your refusal to believe that you tried. It is your refusal to believe that it is already yours. And that's why you're already saying, no, it didn't work. And that's what she realized. She says, no, I'm not doing that. That was then. She says, no, this is now. This is now. And that's what she did. She made a decision. I have a desire to have a session, right? And your desire is whatever it is, right? Her desire was, I have a desire to have a session. I am proceeding with my circumstances. In other words, she wasn't waiting for the money to appear. She wasn't waiting for some deposit to happen and then she books a session. She wasn't waiting to see evidence that there's movement for her desire. She wasn't waiting to feel better. She wasn't waiting for things to change in front of her. No, she went along with the circumstances in front of her. And the only thing that she had access to was to charge it. And she said, did it hurt? Yes. She said, because that's part of the circumstances that were in front of her. So she played along with the circumstances. She went ahead and moved forward and did what she wanted. She went ahead, and it's the same thing. You go ahead and go to the doctor. You go ahead and take the medicine. You go ahead and be in the wish fulfilled regardless of the no movement. You go ahead. If you're single and you want to be married, you go ahead and accept that you're single. This movie slide right now shows that. You go ahead with it. You move in with it, but you already know what you've done within has to be pushed out. You made a decision that you want what you want, and that is final. Do you see? So that is what she says, I proceeded with my circumstances. That's what it means. You just keep going along with it, right? But within, you've already made a decision that it must show without. So she proceeded with her circumstances. She charged it, right? And she says, I am allowing myself to have despite the appearances. So she said, I'm allowing myself to do what I want to do. In other words, to have my desire. I'm allowing myself to claim who I am despite my circumstances. And for her, despite her bank account. Do you see? So she was provided for not only that session, but as you see, 25 times more. But who was she provided for, you guys? By herself. She realized that she is the source of it all. That is the realization in the success story. That's the realization in all success stories, is to realize that they all have that thing in common, that they all realize that everything's coming from them, that they're the source of it. By the time many of you read or hear a success story, you're looking and writing down the affirmations and writing down that person's process or what they did to help them realize, and everyone's going to come about their own realization in their own unique way. Don't compare yourself to anyone else's success story. The only thing that I want you all to teach yourselves to do is realize the thing in common, not what they did, not what they said, not how they said it and when they said it or how many times they said it, but the realization, the root, the core of it all, that they all realize that they make a decision because they're in charge. They're calling the shots. They're the source of why everything happens. They're the good news. They're the success. They're the movement. They're the epiphany. They're the light. They're the truth. They are the way. That's the realization. So when you hear success story, it's not another thing for you to realize and have to do and go try. Oh, okay, it worked for them. Now let me go try this technique. Oh, okay, let me try this process. Okay, then, okay, so they said that they're God, so let me say that now. Oh, so they said I am, so let me do that. Okay, this is how they realized their wish fulfilled was actually reality. Okay, do you see, that's what you guys are getting caught up in. Success stories, I want you to look deeper into what is happening to all of them when you hear one. Instead of feeling disappointed by them, instead of feeling like they're getting something they want, listen to the deeper meaning of what they all realize. And that you have too. None of us, not one single one of us, are excluded from the law and its promise. Not one of us has more power. Not one of us has an advantage over the other. I don't care if I'm a coach or you hear a coach or whoever it is. No one, Oprah, the president, no one has an advantage. Okay, everyone has the same exact power. You are looking at people and saying, oh, well, they're confident. Oh, well, they've been doing it longer. Oh, well, they have more money. Oh, well, they worked hard for it. Oh, that's because of where they live. Oh, because they live in that country and not this country. Oh, it's because it's this time of day. Oh, it's because it's raining. Constantly looking for why you are not that power. That you're not pointing out. People think they're pointing out why people have an advantage. What you're really doing is you're looking for why you have a disadvantage and you don't have a disadvantage. Stop looking for a disadvantage in your power, a disadvantage in your circumstance, and start seeing that you are the advantage, that you have it all, that is within you all, and that you have the same thing that all of us do. We all have that one power because there's only one. How can there be a different power that works for some and not the others? We're all one. We have the same power. So start looking for your advantage, that you are source, that you are God, that there's only one power, that we all have it all, that no one has an advantage, no one has a leg up. It just looks like it because you keep looking for how you are disadvantaged, how you have less power, how you're not smart enough or confident enough or pretty enough or handsome enough or sexy enough or read enough or knowledgeable enough or intellectual enough or educated enough or what. Stop looking for your disadvantages and start remembering who you really are. That's the key to this all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for watching The Rosey Life. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and thank you for sharing the videos and content with others so The Rosey Life grows. I will see you guys really soon, and I love you all, and you are all so freaking amazing. I love you dearly. All right, bye.